Those who were teenagers in the 90s, what piece of technology took you a long time to adapt during the turn of the century? Voice recognition actually being good and usable is the thing I'm still getting used to. This is a good one. I still assume it's complete garbage as many early implementations were. I used to get so angry with Alexa. Then I changed the wake up response word from Alexa to computer, and I find I'm far more patient. It doesn't change the voice, just the word you say to get it to respond. IDK why it made me so much more patient when it does mishear me, but it really does. Ugh, I have a Google Home, and you can't change what you call it. Last time I checked, and I really hate having to say hey Google or okay Google every time I need something. Edit, my kids and I figured out that it responds if you say okay poo poo, lol. They just want you to repeat the brand name to ingrain the usage of it even more. I wish I could change it to computer. That'd be awesome. Okay Google is just such an awkward phrase to say. You should try this box one. Hey, Cortana. Especially when she comes up without me even summoning her in the middle of a freaking game. I waited to get a smartphone until almost everyone else my age had one. I always used to say that I don't need to have the internet with me all the time. Once I made the switch though, there was no looking back. I delayed because I knew as soon as I had one I'd be staring at it constantly. Same here. And I was right. Look at us. Hey, look at us. Who older thought? Not me. No thanks. I'm looking at my phone. The constant availability of a seemingly endless stream of entertainment in any form. I still can't adapt. I should be sleeping right now. Remember when the TV only showed boring ass shit in the middle of the night? Plus dead channels and scrambled Skinamax? The other night laying in bed I didn't want to watch anything in particular. But I wanted to watch TV. So I go to Pluto and start watching random things. My husband asks me what I'm doing. I'm flipping channels. Sometimes I miss doing that. That's been my biggest struggle with streaming, is I have to pick something. Usually I have the TV on in the background for my ADHD, so it's better if it's something I'm not invested in but also don't hate. Channel surfing was great for that, and I miss it when only streaming is available. Me too. Now I just let YouTube autoplay. I use Chromecast, so no ads, I think, because I didn't really pay attention. Being overly social. I've now seen every single social networking iteration since the internet started, and I've tried to engage with most of them in meaningful ways. I still don't like taking pictures of myself or most of what I do. I would still rather lurk and absorb info from the internet as opposed to posting and sharing. While I appreciate the technology used and markets created by things like Twitch streams or MMOs and battle royales, I'd still rather solo an epic RPG by myself for some story. Leave the other people out. Leave the inane lobby chat out. Turn off the mic. Leaving all that aside, social networking is fucking up the political, social, and economic parts of life. Of all the new stuff that's come with living in the future, social networking baffles, amazes, and frustrates me the most. I'm completely baffled as to why anyone would want to take a photo of their face or their food, so someone who hasn't seen it can see it. A friend, for instance. Or for the life archives, looking back on things. People with film cameras did it too. The concept of not hiding your identity online. Always lie when asked ASL was drilled into me. So the idea that someone can just mosey on over to Facebook and find your personal information is wild to me. 17/F/Cali. Saba, you start. I put on my band wizard hat. A classic. A literary masterpiece of our time. I'm intrigued. I need to know more about this early internet wizard roleplay. For me it's shit like LinkedIn and building a professional social media and networking presence. I'm not really into regular social media, so it's something I never did or built. I find it incredibly draining to create content, to cultivate a social media presence. I don't mind doing it casually and see immense value in staying connected with people that I'd otherwise not have the ease of access to. But when it comes to being intentional about posts to grow followers, I find it hard to be motivated. Same. The whole building your own personal brand for the sake of your career in LinkedIn, for example, is something I really dislike. The thing about social media is that it is so fake and superficial as it is, and I feel like this is just adding to the issue. Yeah, God, I'm so sick of hearing about personal branding. I didn't want a cell phone because I didn't want to be reachable all the time. Well, that's no longer allowed. This is why all of my work vacations involved wilderness camping, even when they don't. I went on a cruise where it was way too expensive to pay for internet while at sea, so I was completely unreachable for a lot of it. I would arrive at port, turn phone on, get panicked emails from work that were a day old, call them and be like, okay well good luck back to sea. Dude, sigh 2 weeks before I went on my cruise. I'm going on a cruise. I won't be reachable as it's cost prohibitive to pay for internet while I'm away. Let me get someone up to speed on my day to day. It's cool, we know what you're into. 1 week before, hey, 1 week till I leave, let me sit with someone and go over this. No, we're good. Day before I'm leaving tomorrow, can I sit with someone? I think we can manage it. I walk past a Starbucks and my phone connects. Hey, Sean's blog, if you get this, can you tell us how to? Video calling / Skype / FaceTime, whatever it's called these days. Just, well, I still haven't adapted. My younger siblings insist every call must be a video call. Nah dog, I'm good. and I'm generally on the front lines, keeping up with the tech, recommending them products, troubleshooting their problems, etc. I don't like using FaceTime or video calling because I'm ugly, and I look even worse over FaceTime. Same. Laptops. I remember the old ones my dad would have for work, and how they really sucked compared to the desktop we had. Once they started having them in schools, I still thought they sucked. I guess I knew that they would naturally get better, but the idea that a laptop would ever be powerful enough for things like gaming, serious computing ability, or small enough to be carried conveniently? Yeah, right. Not anytime soon. Looking back, I know how dumb it was, considering people have had the same feelings for everything from electricity to the telephone. But at the time, my aversion to them and being dismissive about them really put me at a disadvantage for a few years. Now we have plenty of people who will never own a computer because cell phones. I have a Samsung and X isn't great, but I love the idea of it and seeing it become a norm. I work with children and the amount of kids and teenagers who just cannot type at all is seriously shocking. Phones and tablets have seriously hindered children's ability to use computers. Agreed. Laptops are great, but it might be a boomer here and say that the real problem is tablets. My little sis, 9, literally needs help opening Word on a laptop. She only knows how to use her iPad. This is seriously gonna come back one day though. I've been doing group work for most of this semester and apparently I'm the only one who knows how to set up and operate Google Drive. It amazes me that the other people in my group I'm taking early to mid 20 somethings don't know how to search for documents that I've shared with them within their own drive. Social media has been my only hurdle. The fact that people are so willing to put their faces and real identifying information out to the public on the internet just frightens me. The blind trust that consumers put into these corporations is astounding. God, I remember when I was a young teen getting online, adults would always tell us never use your real name for a screen name and don't ever put any personal information on there. It's amazing how these corporations shoehorned in your real identity to be commonplace online. My Facebook is locked down to only friends and I go by a fake name on there and also have one under my real name that I just post benign pics on from time to time to give the impression that that is my real FB. So mindless our drones have something to see to check off on their list because apparently your Facebook is relevant when people are going over resumes now. I refuse to get any on board with any more of that shit now. The blinders are off and the people who don't see it for what it is aren't paying attention. I think it was Yang who was saying the other day, these social media companies who swooped in and gobbled up all our personal data without permission should owe us money now. I like that idea. For sure. Social media has been the only tech I've struggled to adopt. Most I try and abandon very quickly. Reddit is the only one I use consistently and I barely classify it as social media. I think it's because in the early internet days most of us experienced bad shit firsthand, so learned the hard way that the internet isn't a safe space. A lot of us had our privacy violated one way or another, so I think we want to have tighter control over what we put out there. We also still had privacy in our lives when the internet was young and the concept of having our lives be completely data harvested was still sci-fi. And I know it's been said before, but holy shit, I am so glad social media wasn't much of a thing. When I was a teenager, I'd have collapsed myself into a black hole of cringe lol. For real, people like to say the internet is the Wild West, but holy shit, you should have seen what it was like in the days of Netscape, AOL, GeoCities, BBSs. That was a crazy thing to be a part of when the internet changed our world. Don't know if it's technology, exactly, but it's certainly a byproduct of it, the loss of privacy. Actually, it's not really the loss of privacy that really gets me, it's the loss of the expectation of privacy. Your business was your business, and people kinda respected that, or they were a naughty bitch. It wasn't really the norm until phone cameras and, particularly, 9/11, that your business was government business, or semi-public business, or worse yet, potentially profitable entertainment on the internet for a stranger. If I went out with my friends, did stupid shit, not that this ever occurred, mind you cough, and then proceeded to keep our damned mouths shut, nobody ever found out about it. It wasn't immortalized in a cell phone pic on Facebook. And if someone asked, and you said, huh, what? Nah, don't know what you're talking about. It felt like people had enough respect for your privacy to not push the issue. It's not social media I hate, it's the attitude that a lot, if not most, people have taken to social media. People post pics or vids of strangers because they were doing something funny or stupid without permission. That's an invasion of someone's privacy, not lol. Film someone dressed weird because you think they're funny looking? You're an asshole who should probably learn to keep your nose out of others people's business, not an influencer, entertainer, or some stupid shit. People treat other people differently, since we blurred privacy, news, and entertainment, and I think it's making people more self-conscious and anxious, just in general, because I think there's an element of kinda always feeling like you might be center stage without realizing it. Dude, you can't even go grocery shopping without some company trying to study your habits now. The idea that a well-educated, well-paid professional somewhere is analyzing H&M. This odd person bought cat food, chocolate, and Pepsi Maximum. How can we make money from this? Is both hilarious and frightening. Streaming media vs owning a copy. Software as a service in general. Touch screens. I kept a phone with a hard keyboard for a long time. Stored CCS on websites. I remember when you could get a one-time number for special transactions. I'm still against cash apps like Venmo. Everyone that says I need it takes cash. The trend towards games as a service kills any desire I have to play modern AAA games. No microtransactions, no bullshit has become a selling point. Now, I find that disgusting, honestly. Yep, totally. Took me a long time to get on board with texting. I remember telling one of my buddies, why would I text you when I can just call you? It's much faster. And I never pick up a call unless it's family or work. Yep, same here. I thought texting was so stupid, just a fad. How wrong I was. Texting was kind of crummy on 90s phones. Plans also charged for texting service. I remember it was like 10 cents a text, and if you didn't have an alpha keyboard it took forever to write out a text. Push 1 3 times for a C, push 2 twice for an E, etc. I'd get so mad when I received a text that I'd ignore the person until they called. In fact, I cancelled my data plan and didn't upgrade until at least the second generation of smartphones came out. Now I ignore people if they call and wait until they text. Even my almost 70-year-old mom texts me now. I miss T9 and being able to text from my pocket. The good old days. I can't pick a specific item, but I used to use a tape player a lot in the 80s to 90s. I would record radio songs and pretend to be a DJ in between. When CDs came out I just didn't care for them. I couldn't record to them yet, and they were expensive. I think we owned a Mozart CD as our only CD for the first 5 years. It wasn't until I had a CD player in my own car that I even bought them. I was the same with not getting into CDs. I had so many tapes full of songs from the radio I could hardly keep track of them. I basically stuck with tapes until the early days of MP3s. Owned maybe 4 CDs in my entire life. And I was like that, but live so rural. Even right now they're the best internet is 3 MB DSL. Back then our dial-up was too slow to download MP3s, so I kept a membership to that CD club and would rip the CDs to MP3s on the computer to have 3. I was glad to trade tapes for CDs. Had too many melt in hot cars or get eaten by my shitty Walkman to not trade up for something that didn't have to be rewound or worry about getting eaten.